Pakistan's Interior Minister says 12 people have been killed in a suicide bombing in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad. More than a dozen others are reported to be injured in the blast that happened in a busy area of the city. No group has yet claimed responsibility for this explosion. And for more, we are joined now by journalist Iftikhar Firdous, who is in Islamabad. Thanks for joining us. What more can you tell us about what happened, about this explosion?
So we've seen this explosion taking place early in the morning, and obviously this is one of the most busiest courts because it's the district courts, which we call in Pakistan the lower courts. And we've seen hundreds of people actually thronging to the courts for different cases. This morning, there's a huge explosion that was heard near the front gate, which is basically the main premise for entering the building. What we've known from the authorities so far, they've found traces that it was a suicide bombing. They've taken the specimens to clarify in order to who the suicide bomber was. The Interior Minister, as you've just said, has confirmed it also, as well as 12 fatalities that have been recorded so far. But we have news from 27 different injured people, most of them policemen and lawyers that have been taken to the close-by hospital in Islamabad. But this is, one of those times where we've seen multiple attacks taking place in Pakistan. Yesterday evening, a military college, which is basically a boarding school for several students, being attacked by 5 suicide bombers. And that incident is still continuing, with 2 suicide bombers being killed and 3 being held and cornered in a building in the northern parts of the country in South Waziristan district. So it seems
let me just bring you back to this incident. Are there any? So you're saying that it's been confirmed it's a suicide bombing. Are there any indications at all about who might be behind it?
So no group has claimed responsibility so far, but we've seen that after Pakistan and Afghanistan, they mediated talks between Qatar and Turkey. One of the prime suspects behind the bombing, which is the Tehreek-e-Taliban in Pakistan, has stopped claiming attacks. And we've seen numerous other groups renaming and rebranding themselves, which the Pakistani authorities accuse are still the same groups, but because of international pressure, they're not claiming responsibility. But for this particular incident, there has been no trace of any responsibility claim so far.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned just a day ago there was an army cadet college attacked by militants, I believe, in northwestern Pakistan. Can you just give us a sense of the security situation in Pakistan at the moment?
So the current, security situation in Pakistan in 2 provinces, it's been pretty bad. We've got one of the largest repertoire of attacks in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan provinces. And this is probably bigger than what it was in 2009. That whenever we look at the terrorism index in Pakistan, 2009 was considered to be one of those years which we have the massive surge, but 2025 has surpassed that on many levels. Last week, the military gave a debriefing in terms of its casualties, and they said that they were above 950 civilian and military deaths. But the larger number of these deaths, are 73%, are actually just from within the armed forces itself, whether civilian or military. And so we do see these specific attacks now targeting state-based institutions, particularly military-run institutions, and the judiciary was always one of those parts which has been a favorite target in Islamabad by non-state actors. We've seen multiple attacks even previously in the earlier years when Pakistan was facing a very strong insurgency.
Thank you so much, journalist Iftikhar Firdous in Islamabad. Thank you for your analysis.